Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man!
All right, episode 109 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Baav from Aesthetic Imprints in Maryland. Let's go!
Hey, Boo.
Hey.
So, like you're here today.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I can't see yours, but I'm sure it's cool.
I'm very stuffed up. I've had a head cold for the past 4 days. So,
Dude,
are we doing it together?
Hold on a second. I don't want to break this to you. It's going to be, this isn't good news, but it's going to last much more than 4 days.
Cool.
Yeah, because I'm on day, I think 11.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool.
I feel better today than I did the last 2 days. So
yeah, so the first 3 or 4 days are the roughest, and then it's just this fucking annoying,
leaky face. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So good luck with that. You have, would you say you were day 4?
Yep.
I think you're probably looking at about 8 more days. Maybe.
Cool.
Maybe. That's if things go well.
Nice.
But who knows? Your immune system is like that of a god.
Yeah, it's very godlike.
So, maybe tomorrow you wake up and you're great.
Right. Cool.
Well, other than that, how's the weekend, man?
It's pretty good. I've been to the shop all day. It's a new air compressor day.
So what does that mean? You're installing it?
Today we took out the old one and took off the plumbing, and I prepped the floor and the wall around it for paint. So I'm going to paint tomorrow morning, and then we're going to push in the new air compressor, plumb it in. And then on Tuesday, the electrician comes to hook it up. And then on Wednesday, the Ingersoll tech comes out to give it final inspections, and then we'll print. Cool.
Congrats, man. Cheers.
Yeah. It's only been 8 months.
It's been sitting there, right?
Yeah, it's been sitting here for a while.
I want to say you got it. Yeah, months ago.
Yeah.
Well, we have lots of things to do in our life. And, that's a big one because that usually means your air is down for a day and you don't want that.
Which is why I'm doing it on my July 4th weekend.
So smart.
Yeah.
Didn't you have, wasn't there a birthday yesterday? Not you, but
my son's birthday was on the 1st.
Oh, the 1st.
He's 12. Yeah.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I put him to work, told him he has to earn a living from now on. So
yeah, so he's not even a teenager, but in your family, you hit 12, work.
12, get your ass to work, bud.
Yeah, 40 hours or 50?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Overtime. Yeah.
Mandatory. So mandatory, at least 50 hours. Yeah, because I say that, you don't want to have a snowflake for a son, do you? I mean,
right. And I told him, it's funny, he was joking in the kitchen. I was like, all right, man, you're 12 now. So that means you have to pay your part of the mortgage. That'll be $500 a month plus taxes and fees and gas and all this other stuff. I was like, so get to work, bud.
Have you ever heard of that thing you can do to your kid to teach them about life, where you pay them their allowance, So let's say it's $100 and then you tax them. You're like, okay, so taxes, and you take out 40%. And then bills, whatever it is, electric, just go.
And then you're and your muffler fell off. And then you just take more, and you're like, and the tree fell on your house.
Yeah, he starts crying.
Yeah. You're at negative $450.
Right. That's a sweet, I think it's, that's tough love.
Right.
But you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We crushed it all week, man. It was, we had a bunch of people out, including Kyle. And Kyle does so much here. And Alex, though, stepped up and so Kyle, he wears the same outfit every day. I don't know if you knew this, but he wears like the Carhartt black t-shirt and the Vans and the whole thing.
Right.
And he has the same hat with a K on it. So Alex has a hat with an A in the same like style, you know, like he has a black
Right.
hat with the green A. So when Kyle's gone, he
Jumps in.
jumps right in. So
Nice.
but we did so well on Friday. We just didn't run production. I let everybody go for like an extra, I guess 4-day weekend, right?
Nice. Yeah, I let them
I
take
know.
the 5th off because I'm still dealing with the compressor. So they got an extra day, but after
Damn.
the 4th.
Okay. Well, that's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Joe left town yesterday for a Print Girl Mafia like slumber party.
Mhm.
Can you imagine like the shit? Like, can you imagine like
I'm surprised she's still alive.
I mean, she probably hasn't. When they say slumber party, there's no sleeping. Like what's happening down there?
Yeah.
But yeah, so she left, and I went and got dinner last night with a friend. And
How dare they?
do you know what I got? I wanted to tell you because I thought you would appreciate this.
Mhm.
Lamb meatballs. Have you
Do
ever
like
had
meatballs.
that? Yeah.
I don't like lamb, but I do like meatballs.
You don't shut the fuck up. You don't know if you like lamb or not. Have you had a lamb meatball?
Yes.
Well, okay. I
Actually,
don't.
I can't say I've had a lamb meatball, but I've had lamb
Exactly.
before.
Okay. So have you had a lamb meatball?
No.
All right. Well, it was like there were these meatballs, and then I wrote down the recipe. Oh, ginger, not the recipe, but what else it came with. And it was in like this bowl, and it had this ginger garlic rice, sesame sea bean teriyaki glaze sauce on top.
Wow. Sounds fancy.
And it was
Proud of you.
so good. So
Sounds
good.
delicious.
I know it was.
Mhm.
And so then I came home to a quiet house
And you cried
watched,
yourself to sleep?
yeah, that's what I just went straight to bed and cried. No, I watched this what started off kind of cool and turned into an awful show, but I had to finish it. Have you seen The Man from Toronto? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't it like
don't-
Woody Harrelson and
Yeah.
yeah,
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
I mean, it's funny a couple of times, but
Yeah.
no.
I started the Terminal List on Amazon. That was pretty good.
Is that a series?
Mhm.
I've never heard of it.
It's good. So after that, did you just go to bed and hug the body pillow and we're like, Joe?
Body pillow? What's that?
Yeah. You don't have a body pillow?
I have a pillow.
It's like a pillow that's like as long as your body, so you can like hug it and put your legs around it.
Don't tell me you have that. You sleep with something like that?
No, don't. Definitely not.
Does your body pillow have a hole in it?
Yeah. For airflow.
Oh, so body pillow. I see where this is going. No,
Yeah.
I have a pillow that I bought at Target, and it's
Still got the plastic on it for peeing.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Should we move on? Is it time?
How
You were
was
late.
Beavis and Butthead?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, for sure.
It was good.
Watch that. Yeah, watch it.
Okay, cool. Check it out.
Um.
Did you start Stranger Things new episodes yet?
Oh fuck! The other half came out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. Nobody. You didn't tell me. Nobody told me this.
I'm pretty sure it came out on the 1st.
Oh well, you know I can't anyway because
Joanne's not there.
yeah, we're gonna watch that together. So
Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope she comes back alive.
shut the fuck up. Yeah, of course she is. I can tell you this much. If anything, if there's a scratch on my angel, Christina's fucking dead. Okay. She better, oh my gosh. I don't know. She better come back.
You're
alive.
freaking out now. You're like, wait, hold on.
We got to stop. Hold on. I got to call her.
There's an option.
um, I missed it.
Frank. I don't know how you missed it, but that's cool.
I was watching I wasn't
Watching
looking at the
yourself on
thing. I
screen.
was watching on the screen.
Mhm.
I haven't talked to Frank in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I feel like the last time I talked to him was in a text.
I think
But-
so too. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him.
Mhm.
I'm gonna call him this week.
See how Big
Okay,
Daddy
we
Frank's
both
doing.
should.
Yeah,
we both should
call
give him
together.
Give him a ring.
Mhm. I bet he's busy as fuck though.
Mm-hmm. I had a shop. Somebody messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in St. Louis for a wedding. It'd be super dope if I could stop by and say hi." And so they did on Friday, late in the day. And I felt bad because we were closing. Some of us were here, like maybe 10 people here. Production wasn't here on Friday, but maybe like 10 people in the front. And we wanted to close at 4 for the 4th. Yeah, does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I thought it did. And then I think he got here at like 3:35, because he ran into some traffic. He was coming in from a different state. So I gave him this like rushed tour, but the best I could, in 30 minutes, I guess. But he said that something happened like years
Was
ago
disappointed.
with the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like, he wanted his money back. I charge, He's like, no.
He's like, can you pay me for the gas that I spent to fucking get to this goddamn shithole?
Yeah. Like I wanted to see a screen printing shop and like, what the
Mhm.
fuck is this?
Yeah.
I don't remember my story. Fuck it. So it all starts with the screen. And whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFF,
Rank.com.
or
Greatfuckingscreens.com.
yeah, buddy.
The greatest.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you keep your screens and your shop clean. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way.
Action Engineering makes all kinds of accessories printers need. Go to Action Engineering to have a look and then use Shirt Show at checkout and get a one-time discount, 15% off. And I'm super upset because I haven't got the July thing yet. So I'll get that next time.
But go buy some shit.
Yeah, just go buy some stuff anyway. Of course.
Yeah.
Monarch Color makes ink that does what it's supposed to do. It almost seems like I should say it like Monarch makes ink that does what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
That sounds like I mean it.
You're so assertive.
They have the most opaque mixing system in the biz. Learn more at monarchcolor.com. Ink better, print better, be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch.
I had Taco Bell today too. Still
I'm
inside
sorry.
me, digesting.
Sorry.
Oh, so good.
What'd you get?
Chalupa. Or not a chalupa, a cheesy gordita. It's good.
No.
Could cleanse later.
There's
Yeah.
this new Shake Shack that opened by our house. I'm seriously going there every day. Just every day.
Okay.
Every single day. You could get, they have like fucking hot dogs.
I don't think I've ever been to a Shake Shack.
I highly recommend it.
Okay.
They started here. The guy that started it's from here.
Wow.
Look, Graphic Source. All I have to say is it becoming more and more difficult to both create all of the art and run your business at the same time? Or do you need help with complicated steps, or you just need somebody to talk to?
Right. Use the a la carte option for some difficult steps that you have.
For sure.
Mhm.
If you want to check them out, go to 1-900-HOTStuff.com. All of those problems will go away.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It is. You want to pull your phone up because we have a Chroma line tip of the week. And then I'm going to share something that they have created that's really dope. Something they created that I love. That's really cool. And I
straight
think you need
fire.
to- Mhm.
Chroma Line's tip of the week is when working with dual cure emulsions, you have 4 to 6 weeks to use them after mixing in the diazo, sensitizing it. Kevin always recommends writing the date in when it was mixed on the label. This is a good habit to get into so you can keep track of the pot life.
That was very well done. And
Thanks.
I also wanted to add, by the way, we date our emulsion. We use SPQ and we don't mix it, but we date it anyway. So like when our emulsion comes in, boom, date goes on it.
So you're dating the whole batch when it comes in, or just what you mixed and is open?
We don't mix it, so we just date it always though. So we know like what batch it is. You know what though? Kevin told me the secret code. There's a code on every gallon of emulsion that tells you the year and the day it was made.
Right.
I can figure that out and let you guys know next time, but in case you're interested, but there's a way to tell. And here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to share something that's really, really, what'd you call it? Fire?
Straight fire.
Straight?
I don't know. That's what the
Great fire. Great fire. This
Yeah,
is
it's
great
great fire.
balls. Great ball.
Right.
I want to show you something that is just like great balls of fire.
Right.
You ready for
Mhm.
this?
Yes.
Can you see this?
Oh, look at
See that right
Kevin's
there?
beautiful face. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So of course, right here. Okay, where to buy? You can go here. You can buy, put stuff in the cart. Boom, buy it. Go right here. Learn everything about your screen room in Kevin's hunky videos, and then right here, you got these two goobers. Look at that. You
Mhm.
click on this,
Welcome, Shirt Show listeners.
and look at this. So you go and here's the tip of the week. So this was the tip last week, right? And then this is episode 81, where we actually had Kevin on and we chatted about everything screen room.
Hmm.
And here is something you can download, like it's an exposure calculator. And then you ready for this? I'm going to scroll down a little bit. You ready?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay, check this.
So ready.
Look at that.
Oh, those are cool.
So here's what's happening. So right here, you can read this when you get to the website and check it out for yourself. But all Chroma Line e-store purchases using promo code 226shirt will be entered for a chance to win. All valid entries will receive our free troubleshooting guide at the time of purchase. And in July, the giveaway includes 1 gallon of Chroma Blue and 2 Shirt Show Pilsner glasses. And look at those babies.
Look at those things. They're beautiful.
Yeah. And if you don't drink beer, well, then you can put tea.
Yeah, I
in
would
it.
put my iced tea in that.
Yeah. Don't
I
put no
wish I had it right
sweetened tea
now.
in there. Don't be some.
No, it'll eat the glass away and it'll fall. Glass shards will fall into your fucking face.
That's right.
put
Isn't
sweet
that
tea
cool
in that.
though? That's
Yeah.
neat, right?
My face is juicing.
Juicing? I don't know.
Yeah, there's juice coming out of my face.
That's it, right? Yeah, that's everybody.
Yeah.
We did it.
Go check everybody out. And it's funny, I don't remember if we did this or not. Did we introduce Kevin Baumgart?
Yeah. What about him?
Did we introduce him and like who he was and what he does before we had him on? Because
Well, let me look at my-
Eric sent me this thing the other day.
We did. We totally did. I wrote this. I said, today we're talking to Kevin Baumgart from Set Sales. We first were introduced to Kevin at Print Hustlers Conf. We were really impressed, and he knows a lot about sales.
Nice. Okay. Because he was like, my favorite thing about this Kevin podcast is that 30 minutes in and you guys still haven't said what Kevin does or who he is. So I was like, I don't remember.
You know what? We need help. I think we could do a little better in that. I mean, I write some of this stuff down and sometimes it misses. Sometimes we definitely could do more. This show isn't perfect.
Yeah, we're not perfect people. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
You're pretty close. I
We're
would say.
fucking bottom of the barrel. We're scraping the sludge off the bottom is what we are.
That's good sludge though. That's the best
fuck
part.
It is. Yeah. It's a crispy.
Well, let's get this right here. So today, let's introduce our guest, right? Let's make sure we don't screw that up. Sorry, Eric. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm. Purist.
Chill out. I love you, Eric. I miss you and love you.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently you're going to get to see him.
Yep. End of the month.
At the water base.
So much
camp.
hugs. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just an excuse to go see him. Long time.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend that I'm fucking Mr. Waterbase and go down there.
Okay, cool. I hope you do.
Rub What do you do? Rub shoulders? Is that what people do?
What?
Rub. What is it? What's that saying when you
go to jail
and-
for rubbing people's shoulders.
So today we're chatting with Baav from Aesthetic Imprints. I asked him a minute ago. I wasn't sure where he was from, and so I messaged him. I said, "Where are you located?" And he said the DMV. And so I'm like, okay, well, that either means you share space with like the DMV, right? Which I guess
Sounds
you
terrible.
share space with like grumpy people all day.
Yeah.
Or he's from like the DC area, because
Uh,
I think it stands for something Maryland, Virginia, D. District of Columbia.
I don't fucking know. I'm not from there.
Dylan, where's he from?
I'm not cultured. Look at me. Bottom of the barrel.
But look, he either way, check him out on YouTube. He's got something like 7,000 followers. He makes vlogs of what he does every day, and also tutorials on how to screen print. We ran into him. Where'd we meet him? We met him at ISS, in Atlantic City, at the M&R booth, because he's looking at maybe some automatic equipment.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I'd like to dive into that conversation that we had.
Yeah, let's dive in.
See what advice he took.
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Oh,
He's like, nah, I didn't do anything.
He's like, I actually did exactly what you guys
Like,
said
you guys
not to do, and
yeah.
I'm fucking so good right now. I couldn't mute it in time. I couldn't. I was gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die on camera.
You want me to cough with you? We can cough
Yeah,
together.
can we cough together?
Oh. Bro, I got tested for COVID 4 fucking times.
Why?
Well, I thought I had it,
Oh, okay.
and apparently I don't.
I thought I just had allergies, and then my whole face hurt, and then I was like, I don't think this is allergies.
Well, he is here.
Hold on. I gotta go ahead.
No.
I'm gonna keep this mute button handy.
Yeah.
Got Mild Boys Sick Edition. You want to hear it?
Going
You wanna
around,
hear a good
man.
one? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's good. Oh god, yeah. Oh yeah. That's gross.
Hmm.
What's going on, fellas?
Look at this beautiful background.
I
Oh, is that an
know, I
unsweet
know.
tea right there?
Duncan.
It's
Right.
Oh, that I'm the opposite, Dylan. I like
You
sweet
fucker, shut it
tea.
off.
All right. Well,
Get
see
this
you.
out of here. See you later.
I just can't do unsweet tea.
Okay, whatever. Whatever you say.
Hey, but look, he's close. Like, he's got Duncan.
He's
and
drinking tea at least.
Yeah, he's drinking tea.
I love tea, but I like sweet tea. It's got.
Are you like a sweet tea guy or like an extra sweet tea guy?
No, not extra sweet, but I like sweet tea. Like, have you ever had McDonald's sweet tea? That's just
Yeah,
off the top.
it's oh yeah, off the pavement is what it is. Gotta spike that shit in the parking lot. It's fucking gross.
But it's good.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not at all. They like Dunkin' has never done me wrong, but like McDonald's has done me wrong where I say unsweet and then I get it and literally comes up the straw, just barely touches my tongue, and I'll immediately like, I don't care if I have a white shirt on. I'd be like, "Ugh," I don't fucking come right out, like instantly hits me.
Have you always just not liked sweet tea?
Yeah. Like I grew up on iced tea. In my fridge growing up, my entire life was always like a pitcher of water and a pitcher of iced tea. It was like I've drank it my entire life. So from going from unsweet to sweet is like, it's just a different world. It's disgusting.
I'm the opposite.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm ripping on you.
Yeah, well,
to each their
Bob's
own.
entire life, he's grown up and he has two things in his fridge. He has a pitcher of water and a pitcher of sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Okay. But yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever.
My
Cool.
fridge was a pitcher of water and a pitcher of apple juice.
Apple juice. Okay.
Apple juice.
That was
is
my
delicious.
jam.
You know what's great is cran apple.
Cran apple's pretty good.
Yeah.
What about
cran
orange
grape.
juice?
Oh, are you a pulp guy or
No
pulp
pulp.
guy?
No pulp. No
No
pulp.
I like the pulp.
I like a little pulp. Yeah.
Mhm.
You feel so much more sophisticated when you have pulp in your orange juice. You're like, fuck, this is, someone old lady squeezed this into this carton.
And slightly healthier. Like, oh, this is probably better for
It
me.
does feel healthier.
It's
Mm.
not though. It's all full of sugar. Okay, so let's start this off correctly. How's it going there? It looks so beautiful and bright.
I try to. Yeah, it's going good. It's all right. Shop's been pretty busy. And everything's been going good. I try to keep the shop clean and everything. How's everything going with you guys?
Good. It's I don't know. It's that weird time of year when there's that slight lull around July
Uh-huh.
4th.
Yeah.
But busy season picks right up here in a week or two.
Yeah. That's what happened to me this week. Actually, this week was like that little lull for me.
Mhm.
But now, like the next week is starting to ramp back up. But, what I've learned with screen print in this industry is like, there's just always ups and downs.
Oh
Just
yeah,
gotta,
yeah.
Just gotta ride the wave.
It always slows down around every like major holiday, so that's just one
Yeah.
thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So
just-
that's your house basement you're in?
Yep. This is the basement. Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized basement by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's pretty. I didn't start off with the whole thing, but slowly but surely, I started to take over the whole thing.
So you have obviously some supportive parents. You say that you're in your parents' basement. You're like, that's how you start every video. Is
Uh-huh.
you say, I'm 22, I'm in my parents' basement. And obviously your parents are supportive, but how supportive are they? Like, are they like super down with this whole setup? Like forever? Like they could just do this for the rest of time? Or are they like, you're out of here in a year, or what's their, like, how does it work for you?
No, they're super down. They actually love it. So whenever we get guests, they're like, "You want to see the basement?" And it's like this. So like they really love what I'm doing down here. They're really supportive. They've obviously offered me the basement too. And yeah, they're very supportive about it. So
Dude,
I'm
I'll tell you
grateful
right
about
now that if my son started a business and it looked like that and he had all of his shit together, I'd be so fucking stoked.
Yeah, I think that's partly how they feel. They feel pretty proud about it. I hope so. But yeah.
I bet.
Look, he's in his basement making money. He's starting a business, not in his basement playing Call of Duty or
Right,
whatever.
Exactly. I
Right?
mean, he
Yeah.
is, but like near the press.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They
man,
come
I'm
down-
just plugging away.
Yeah, they come downstairs and he turns off the game and he starts printing.
Yeah.
Just start printing.
That's how I started my first business. I'd play Call of Duty on one side and I'd spin my chair around and answer a couple emails.
That's sweet. That's the life.
Yeah, exactly. Still
Call of
living
Duty.
it.
What was your favorite Call of Duty?
Oh, Modern Warfare, probably.
No Black Ops.
I mean, it gets there, but when I first started, I mean, they're remaking Modern Warfare 2 right now. So obviously it's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
Right.
played in a while. I stopped playing, but I used to be a big Call of Duty guy. Especially zombies was like the
Oh yeah.
shit.
Zombies is huge for us here. Yeah, we played zombies a lot, like, and we still do, but it's nice here because we do the whole like 4 TVs, 4 Xboxes,
hmm
and me and my friends at the shop, we all play together. So like we get together. We played Friday from 3 to 5 o'clock. We played Gears in the shop because we were done for the day.
Damn,
So-
you got 4 TVs and 4 Xboxes at the shop.
Mhm.
You got the environment. You got everything. That's like the dream shop.
Well, it's funny because you hit the Xbox button and you hear that little noise, like that little chirp. And then
Uh-huh.
Chris and Brian always come out of their office. They're like, well, I guess I got to clock out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're close to your shop, right? That's what-
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Most of
heard
us
from
are.
them.
We're all like in town. My house is like the next street over.
Oh, that's sweet.
But yeah, it's pretty good. So can you turn your thing at all so we can see what the rest of the basement looks like? Or is a pile of garbage just outside of the camera view?
This is the wall, so that's like it. The heat press, and then there's a wall.
Oh, okay.
That's it. So
You
this
kinda
is
got the
it's just
straight-
like a big rectangle.
Okay.
Well, this wall wasn't here before. I actually just built that up. So
Oh,
on
really?
the other side of that, there's still another room. That's like what I use as the showroom. It's like blanks and stuff over there.
Okay. Cool.
I was watching your vlog, I think it was yesterday, and you had where the stairs come down to the basement, you have a new backdrop, like for taking your product pics and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess that's over to the left or something like that.
That's right behind this wall. Right behind
Okay.
this brick wall. That's right behind that wall.
That's cool. So tell us how did you get involved? Like, how did you get started with the printing?
So I got started with screen printing in high school. I was just always ambitious about starting a business. At the time, I didn't really know what it was going to be exactly, but I was always passionate about clothing and like starting my own clothing brand and everything. Like I was just very interested in fashion. At the time, I was a senior in high school, and then throughout all of high school, I was always dozing off, just doodling on my paper when they're teaching class, just trying to think of new designs or like think of a name to start a brand. So at the time it was senior year, and like high schools always do like senior shirts and everything.
Right.
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to design the senior shirts, and I'm gonna just go take it a step further and try to make it myself. So I started designing the shirts, sent the designs in. They didn't really take it serious. It didn't go as planned, but so I just started researching how to make t-shirts on YouTube and just going surfing the whole web on exactly how to make t-shirts. The first thing I came up on was heat press, doing the transfers and everything. That looked cool, but didn't look as appealing to me. I just didn't see it being there longevity wise. And then I came across screen print and I was like, this looks like some ancient form of print. How does this even work? Like, there's no way this is how shirts are printed. And then I just started digging into more videos and I was like, oh, so that ink just goes through that screen and it makes that beautiful design. And then that was just like the moment for me. And I was like, well, do you just buy a press and that's it? But little did I know, you got to buy the press, you got to buy screens, you got to buy ink, exposure, and all that stuff that goes into it. So I did my research. I wanted to invest a small amount of money. So eBay was my route. I got that sensational eBay blue press, that four color, no magnets. It was just that little, no micro registration. It's just that cheap. It's like $160, 4-color, 1-station press. I got that, and then I got a flash art from eBay as well. So I think that all totaled out to like $500 at the time. Right now it's a lot cheaper, but at the time it was like $500 for that setup. So I went up to my parents. I was like, yo, thinking of doing this. I think it'll be really cool. They were like, huh, okay. So I just went ahead and ordered it. They were supporting it at the time, and I got that in. But then little did I know I needed like screens and ink and all. So went the speedball route, got a cheap little speedball screen, ordered that, and then speedball emulsion, speedball ink. And at the time, I wanted to know more about screen printing. So in high school, I actually had a teacher, not my teacher, but it was an art teacher that I just so happened to find out that he does a little bit of screen print for like his class. Like you make a t-shirt in class, but not really. It was like just super DIY. So one time during lunch in school, I went up to him and I was like, hey, I heard you know a little bit about screen print. I'm trying to get into this.
You came up to him with your shoulder down. You're like, hey, I heard you like screen print.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you want to show me what you know about it? And then I just came up and he was like, yeah, I know a little bit about it. So he showed me some screens that he coded. He just gave me like the glimpse of like putting emulsion on.
You mean not a class, but just like after school or something?
It wasn't a class. I think he had a special class where throughout the year in that class, there was like 1 day or 2 days where you make your own shirt and it was screen print. It was just like a tiny, like 10-inch screen. So he showed me that and I was like, okay, that looks cool. And then he showed me like, you need a dark room, but he like emphasized it like crazy. Like, you know how a computer has like a tiny, you know, when there's a power button and it has that tiny red dot light. He was like, that little light right there is going to mess up your exposure. So you got to be in the dark. I was like, well, how do you see? And then he was like, I think he said like, there's a special light for it. I was like, okay. very serious. Let's get down
you said
to
something a minute ago that struck a chord. It was, you said that, when you first saw screen printing, you're like, man, this is ancient, and compared to like digital printing or transfers or something. And it is. In fact, it hasn't come, when you think about it, it's sort of the same thing people have been doing for forever.
Yeah.
Sure. We have emulsions that are more advanced now and things like that. But it's still basically just, you have a screen and you have some ink and you're
pulling ink through a stencil.
Yeah. Like it's still, isn't it crazy how it is? It actually is ancient when you think about it.
It's crazy.
I love
and it still works so good. You still get the craziest details out of it, which at the time I was like, how do you do like gradients and stuff? At the time, I didn't know about halftones. All I knew was like you slap ink on the screen and you print it. But little did I know you could get real creative and get some crazy designs out of it. And yeah.
I really want to like put one of my live print setups together and contact our school and be like, hey, would you guys want to teach this in art for like a week?
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, you teach it.
Like, yeah, like I'll go up to the school and be like, hey, let's fucking teach these kids how.
Like an after school thing, or like
no, just like during class, be like, this is what we're doing for a week.
Well, that's what he wanted. So the art teacher that I was talking about. So later, like a couple months down, I started doing a little bit of screen printing because I started screen printing for like a small club and like the College and Career Center. And he found out, and I was like, I just came back to him. I was like, hey man, it's going good. Like I'm printing shirts, it's going good. That's what he wanted me to do, was come in for like a class and try to teach it. That never happened, but it was like a thought. So I think schools would definitely be interested in that, especially if you go up to like an art teacher or something, because it's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot more into it that people don't realize. And I'm sure you figured that out once you got invested a little bit, that there's way more involved in other than a flash and a press.
Yeah, so much. It was fun.
Yeah. So what did you do when you got your first press? Were you just printing your own clothing stuff, or were you trying to do something else?
No, so I never even got around to printing my own clothing. It worked, but then I just fell in love with like designing something, not designing, but like having someone's design it, making it come alive, whether they have an idea and then just make it come alive. So at the time, there was a College and Career Center in the school, and there was this like teacher there, or advisor, I'd say, counselor. I used to always just go to her because she was someone that was like listening to my ideas about this. So she was like the ears, and I would just spit ideas out to her and she would help me out with this stuff. So she would basically help me make a business plan. At the time, I wanted to go up to the school and be like, let me make all your t-shirts with my little blue eBay press. That didn't work out, but I'm glad it didn't, because that would have been a whole shit show. Yeah. But she would like basically help me propose the idea to them. I'd have meetings with them, like the business staff. It never went well, but it was like me putting myself out there, actually trying to get orders and trying to get business made. So then she was like, you know what? I need some shirts for my own stuff that I got going on. So I made her shirts, and it was like a 3-4 color print for the front, single color print for the back. And then, yeah, I made her shirts, got a quick like $200. And that's when I was like, damn, did I just make money selling some t-shirts that I just bought off eBay? Like, this is crazy. So that's when I just fell in love with it. And then when I first got the press wasn't here, but the screen was here. Now I had to figure out how to make like the emulsion and everything. So lucky for me, it went perfect. My first try, my first screen was like spot on. Everything came out good. I basically got a flood lamp. We had a bench press downstairs at the time. So I basically took the cord of the flood lamp, wrapped it around the barbell, and like hung it like 10, 15 inches from the screen, got a glass, went to Office Depot, got my transparencies, and just exposed it, and it came out perfect. But the press wasn't here, and I was itching to print. So I had some Speedball ink. I told my dad, I'm going to put this shirt on this dining table, hold the screen as tight as you can, and I'm going to just try to move the ink, squeegee it on.
You can do that. I mean, people do that. I see that all the time. Yeah, you don't have to. You can just lay it on the floor, throw a screen down, and print it. Obviously, you can't register colors very easily. But
no, yeah.
But you can certainly do it like that. Looks pretty cool too.
Yeah, I was just super excited. I just wanted to get a print done. And then that was like the time, like that was my first print. I lifted the screen and boom. I just looked at it like, wow, that just happened. And I was like, that was like the moment for me. Like,
do you still have that shirt?
I do.
I wish I had my first screen. Like, I don't have anything from back then. You know what I mean?
I don't
like
have
the
my
first
first
screen you
screen.
burned or whatever. It'd be cool to like have that on the wall.
I have a screen. I have a wooden screen. It's probably the size. It's probably like a 20 by 24 or something like that. And it was from a event we printed. I stayed up all night long. I think I told you this story. I can't remember, but we got this order and I literally started printing it like at sunset and finished it at sunrise and delivered it. And so I kept that screen because I don't know, I almost died. So
Where's that screen now?
I don't, it's not here at the shop.
Should hang it up.
I know. Yeah. In fact, well, that's going to be a problem because it's at my ex's shop. The shop I had before this. And she really likes that screen too. So I don't know. We could figure something out. We could work something out.
It's a
you had two
issue.
shops?
Yeah. So when I started in my garage, and we grew into, a shop. We built our first building, and then we grew from that and built another building. But I left all that behind in 2008 and started here in 2009. So, yeah. So I don't have that.
It's a very long story short, but yes.
Yeah. It kind of went down like that. But the screen is there at that shop. I saw it like a year ago or something again, and
have to just run in there and run out with it.
Mission Impossible style.
So it'd be like something we break in and just take that screen. She'd be like, I wonder who took that screen. Like they broke in and just for this. All right. So you have the stuff in your basement. You have a business name and I guess you're getting orders, invoicing customers and scaling and growing. And this is still in high school, or had you graduated yet?
No. So this wasn't even here. This was in a totally different house. We were at a different house at the time. We didn't have this
I jumped
house.
ahead too much.
Yeah. So we were at actually a townhouse. So it was much smaller. So I didn't really have a lot of space to even like this type of thing would not be possible there. So what I did, there was no space there. The townhouse was 3 floors. It was the entrance. You come in, walk up the stairs. There's a room right there. Walk up the stairs. That's the living room. And then walk up the stairs. The 3rd floor is like the bedrooms and everything. So the 1st floor is what I took over after I got like the press and everything made. So there's a door to enter the house. And then there's this tiny hallway. And I basically took that hallway. And that's blocking the entrance to the house. So my parents have just been dealing with this for a while now. So I basically just blocked the entire front way to the house. I could have did the garage, but here it's like gets cold, it just gets wanky. So I just stuck in the little hallway.
And then your parents were like, "Oh, we have to get a new house now." Because he's taking.
Yeah, man. I made like that. I made the house like a horror story because like at the time. I thought, because what he said was like, you can't have this tiny light. So what I did was block off every single window with like blankets, made it like a whole horror story, blocked off the front door with blankets and everything. So it was like I have pictures and everything from that, but it was just crazy. So long story short.
Oh, perfect. Long story short.
But yeah, I got everything made there, and then I just kept plugging away. Getting orders was pretty hard because that's like I think that's one of the hardest things is when you start a shop is even a shop.
That's the hardest part now for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I did was just DM'd like tons of people on Instagram. That's when I was just going through DMs, just DMing anybody I saw, just basically DMing them like, hey, if you need apparel, I could try to get that made for you and so on.
You said anybody you saw, but did you was there a certain demographic you were looking for, or a certain kind of account that you looked for?
At the time I was going after like artists. So like not artists, but like musical artists. So I was like, you know what? They have fans. They need merch. They need apparel made. So whether it was these big time musical artists or just these local artists in my area, I just DM them and just say, hey, you got this following, you got this fan base, you got good music. I'd love to make some shirts for you and everything. I DM like hundreds of people, get like 0 replies, maybe get 1 reply here and there, and just kept doing that until something went. And then one hit. This was probably like my first official order, was this one person that actually replied back. It was the most insane order. No shop would ever do this, but it was 2 t-shirts, 1 white shirt, 1 black shirt, 3 color left chest, 1 color stomach print, 1 color back print, all ink swapped because black and white ink. So you got to swap it. And then this was like a 3 color flag print. So I did that. That basically took forever to do. It was like, oh my God, dude, it's just, but it went well. I got it done. Everything went solid. I got a solid $50 for like
3 days worth of work.
multiple hours and hours of work. But
and you learned some lessons, I guess, too, right?
It was a great experience, because I would have never learned, because like there's no way to like get yourself out there unless you do something for like basically nothing. So you basically have to like step down and do something for like basically free. And at the time, I was just grateful to even have that order and make it come alive. So what I did was use that order as leverage, made a whole bunch of photos with it, pictures with it, and posted on social media, and just getting the word out there that, hey, he's actually doing it because he has some content up and he's got a client at least.
Right. No, that's smart. And that's funny you said, like, I sent out, 100 emails or DMs or whatever, and I got 1 response. And it's kind of the same thing me and Chris used to do. We would spend all day sending emails and messages out, and we would probably have that same ratio where it's like, okay, for every 100 messages, we might get like 5 replies.
Yeah.
And then it sucks to think that way, but it's also like, that's 5 replies you got that you wouldn't have gotten.
Exactly.
So that's the name of the game. And like when we don't do it this way anymore, but like when we used to just try to like hire a salesperson, that's what we said. We're like, okay, you sit here at this computer and you just like, we're going to target a niche or whatever, and we're going to have you just.
Uh-oh.
Well, you're going to hear back from like 4.
Well, hey guys, that just froze. Not sure what you said there, but didn't get any of it.
Okay.
We're back. Well, what was that? I'm sure it was a great story. You want to tell it again?
No.
It probably went something like this. I DM'd this guy, and then they ordered 1,000 shirts, and my life
that's
changed.
exactly what I said.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So is that how you're
hilarious?
Is that how you're getting work still, or now is it word of mouth? I mean, what would you say the most of your business comes from now?
Now it's a lot of word of mouth, especially Instagram. I'd say it comes a lot from there. I try to stay active on there, but now it's a lot of word of mouth where one client tells another, hey, I got a shirt guy if you need someone, and then it just goes from there.
Yeah, I actually had a phone call with Kevin this week, and we had him on. He was our last episode, Kevin's was?
Mm-hmm.
And last one out. Yeah. Well, not when this recording comes out, but for us, it was the last one. But that was kind of our conversation was, for the first 5 years, that's what our whole business model was reaching out to people and getting orders and having them come in. And then about 5 years in, we had 3 people doing customer service, and we stopped hunting because every single day we would come in to full inboxes of, orders. And it was just like, okay, we have orders, and then we have to just do all the, the customer service that goes along with that. And pretty much for the past, I don't know, well, we're almost 13 years old now. So, for the past 8 years, that's all we've done is like word of mouth growth as a company for the most part. Like, yeah, we do a couple like paid ads things here and there, but it's not really, there's no other marketing other than just the word of mouth spread. So I feel like at a certain point you kind of plateau where you're like, okay, the company is still technically growing every year, but it's at a slower pace. You know what I mean? It's like we're good, but I feel like as this my company is like we've done so much to growth of equipment and efficiencies and everything to make things better, and we can crush jobs now. Like we're so good at getting stuff out that now I need to hunt again because we are running out of stuff to do because we could do it so well and so fast. So that was my conversation with Kevin, was just kind of like, hey, like I need to dive back into the dating pool, and like figure out how to do this again. So
would you rather fill those? You said that there are some like holes in your production schedule, right? Would you rather fill those holes with one customer or like 50 customers?
Well, the one customer thing you're going to talk about is probably a contractor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I've looked into that, and I've already talked to a couple options to possibly have that one customer thing, which I'm okay with. I just don't like my eggs in one basket kind of thing. And also too, I know if I get 50 customers, I'm going to make way more money off of those 50 than I'm going to make off of that one. So my goal is to get the one for the short term and get the 50 for the long term. So that's why I said, like, talking to Kevin, we're going to try some new strategies, and we're going to do some, all this stuff to kind of get these guys in the mode of, hey, keep doing your job the way you're doing it. Like, things are great. Everything's good. Like, the company's doing really well. It's just, I want you to have in the back of your mind, if you get a downtime during the day or you finish your shit early, let's go into this mode where Kevin's kind of got us like, ironed out to where they can go look for new stuff.
I have something provocative, Dylan. You know how, and I've always like kind of, you hear this all the time, diversify. And I agree, and that just makes sense, right? Because if one of the customers goes away, well, you still have the other, let's say you have a dozen customers, like the eggs in a basket or whatever.
Yeah.
One goes away, you still have 11, right? And that's a good thing. And so, but I was listening to somebody and they were talking about maximizing their opportunity. And they said that diversification is terrible. They said, look for, where do you make the most? Which customer do you make the most? And why wouldn't you want to print for them only, or mostly anyway, at least. And so, or at least at least if you're going to diversify, don't have it very many people. And that's like, I didn't even think of that, or even that seems like such a crazy idea or a crazy notion, right? And I just heard about this like a month ago or less. And I started thinking about it because we spend so much time with just a lot of different customers, because we've got a lot of customers, right? And there's a lot of, there's just so much that goes into having all of those just different customers. And so would it be easier just to have a few?
Yeah, it
just
would
to have
be
a
easier,
handful?
but the problem is if they go away, then you're fucked.
Well, hold on a second. But, and I shouldn't say easier. I meant to say like more profitable, I guess easier too. Yeah. But like, why wouldn't you want to fill that hole in your production with just one customer that is really, really great and really, really profitable instead of 50? And so I don't know. It's just a, or maybe one's the wrong number. Maybe it's 3. You know what I mean? Would you rather have 3 customers over 50, let's say? Because yeah, you're right. So one could go away. You still have those 2. I'm just trying to rethink, because we have a few holes in our production too. And so who do I want to get? Do I want to get a few big fish, or just a couple maybe? Or do I want to get, 50 to 100 customers? And a few years ago, I would always say 50 or 100 customers. That's better, because I don't want a contractor. I don't want to have smaller margins. But now I think that a contractor, the right contractor, I should say, is actually more profitable, because so much of that stuff that you do for customer service wise is so hard, man. And so I don't know. I'm just rethinking it. That's all.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I feel like, so I've thought about this, where when you have that one big customer, that's a big portion of your income or your sales. I feel like it puts me in like an uncomfortable situation, because like, what if like something happens and that customer falls off, or like, let's just say they stop ordering? That means like you're just left out to dry because you relied mainly on that customer. So now you have to start hunting again. So that's mainly why I try to have more diverse customers, because even if I have one big fish, it puts me in like an uncomfortable situation, because I'm like, that customer could leave anytime. There's no contract that they have to come to me, so they could leave or just stop ordering.
The hard part about that too is that a lot of times when they get so big like that and they know they're a good part of your company is when they start to throw their weight around too. And they're like, well, I need this one out, or I need you to do this for this or whatever. And
Depends.
You can't say no at that point, because they know if you say no, then they're like, all right, cool, well, I'll go to someone else, because there's always someone else that's willing to do my job.
Unless you're providing value that they can't get anywhere else.
No, I understand.
So,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree that it is nice to have that unicorn customer that's like a good, fill, and they work really well. Like,
it's not unicorn, it's real. It's a real thing. It's a real customer.
It's a real unicorn. And like, I get it, and that's cool. Like, I'm not saying it's not, but it's also, if I was to ask everyone here, I feel like, and I know the customer service part is more difficult with new customers, but it's also the exciting part of work is the new art, the new people, meeting new people, those people referring other people. I feel like is exciting. I feel like 9 times out of 10, when we get big customers with big jobs that, and say I was to get one big customer and they were like, okay, cool, we're going to send you 5,000 shirts a week, and it's the same design. I guarantee you, I know you're different designs, but I'm just saying, I guarantee you that if I went out there and I said, hey, we're going to have this one customer and they're going to give us 5,000 shirts a week, they would hands down take 100 random customers with 100-piece orders over that one customer that wants like 10,000 shirts a week.
Well, but okay, so maybe production does, but would you rather have that, process all those different customers, handle all those different personalities, all those different problems, all those different issues and complaints, or potential issues and complaints? So I'm just saying that, okay, you're right. You're right. I think that one, that diversification shouldn't be just one customer or one big customer. You're right. I mean, because if they go away, then what? But maybe it's just a handful. And so maybe a business model is to say, look, I'm going to go out and get 5 pretty large customers, and I'm going to service all of their needs and all of their merch for now. And if one goes away, well, then maybe you're always working on one, and then you plug a different one in. And so I agree.
Hey, bud.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I agree with you. Okay.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Take that tone down a notch. Okay.
I'm just saying that I think that I've always thought about it wrong. And I don't know if it's that the times have changed and here we are in this new world.
I think so. I think honestly, it's just the different parts of where we all are. You know what I mean? Like, starting out to being 13 or 14 years in or whatever, and you get to a certain spot where you're like, I've done that. I've done it this way. And yeah, I feel like you're just at a spot now where you're just like, yeah, I still love doing, all this stuff for all these customers, but like, it's kind of nice when this one customer comes in and they're like, hey, we'd love to like cradle you in our arms and swaddle you and like,
well, it is nice because you know what happened on Thursday and Friday? I was helping put out fires. Like, somebody got 100 tie-dyes and the tie-dyes weren't what he thought. And he's right. Like, I know tie-dyes are different. Every tie-dye is different, right? But the tie-dyes that he received didn't look like the tie-dyes in the digital proof. And so I'm working on that. That's just one case that I'm working on because I'm fixing it no matter what, but I'm also working with my distributor to help me, show that their distributor, like, hey, these tie-dyes are way off. They're not what they should be. And the customer wouldn't care really if they were close, but they're way off. And he also pre-sold all that stuff based on an image, a proof that we gave him. Yeah. And so like, I'm working on that, and then on and on and on. I'm working on all of that sort of stuff. And so is that profitable? Yeah. I mean, I'm charging more.
I guess it's easier.
Maybe I want it less spicy. Maybe I just want it a little bit less spicy.
A little more mild.
Yeah, a little more mild, because I think that there's something to be said for that. I think there's something to be said for I think contract shops get a bad rap. I think that they get a lot of hate. I think that people think that, oh, you're a contract shop and you print for pennies, and what kind of bullshit's that? But I think that there could be a hybrid. I think that you could have a contract shop that chooses very wisely their clients and their accounts, and they price better or they price, more, right? It's a higher price. It's a premium because why? Because we're going to give you premium prints, premium service, and premium. What? Yeah. Anything else? Doesn't matter.
Well, I don't want to put that out there that contract shops are bad, because they're not at all. I just feel like
I hear it a lot though.
It's two different models. My shop is not set up to be a contract shop. Like, yeah, I can do contract work. Okay. I can do contract work and I could get it done, but to efficiently do it to where the margins that are offered with contract make sense in this shop, I would have to do a lot of things to be able to like turn and burn jobs all day long. Like, we are not set up for that. We are set up for doing the 100 to 500 to 1,000 and so on custom orders all day, every day.
Yeah, but so change your pricing. That's all I'm saying is that I think there's a hybrid. I think there's contract work that is pennies. And then there's contractors or brokers, I should say, that would never come to me because my prices are too high. They're not looking for premium service, premium quality, that sort of stuff. But there are contractors that are. And so I think that maybe that's the answer. And to have a few of those or a couple of those and fill your void with that is maybe something you should consider. I was just looking out for you.
I know you are.
That's all.
I know. We're just walking through it.
Looking at it. And same thing with you, Baav. I mean, I don't know what segment you're trying to grow. And
I didn't even know he was still here.
It's pretty tough with a manual press to do any sort of contract work. But
yeah, I wouldn't be able to keep up with like that type of work right now.
Well, right now. But when we met you in person in Atlantic City, you were looking at automating. And so obviously it's tough to do in your basement. You could do that. I pulled it off in my garage. I had an automatic press in my garage. But I mean, is that something you're still looking into? And if you are going to make that jump into I don't know about a retail location, but just, lease a space, let's say, how soon are you thinking?
Well, let's back up for 1 second. Andy set it up, but basically when we were in Atlantic City, I ran into you in the M&R booth and you were talking about, I think you were with Nick Wood, which you were already in good hands.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah, you were already fucked at that point. So you pretty much were on the hunt. Like, you were looking to get out of the basement, and from what I could tell from the conversation, you were ready to do two things at once. You wanted to get a new place, like a legit place that's not your basement, and get an auto at the same time. Correct?
So here's how what I was thinking at that time. That was like my second show to go at, but I've been stuck in like this situation lately where it's like, in order to take that next step, it's definitely get a spot, but the only way to even automate was to get a spot. But I wasn't gonna get an auto, but I'm definitely on the hunt to see what my next options are. Now I'm more leaning towards getting it just another manual. But I definitely want a spot.
So 2 manuals or just an upgraded manual?
Upgraded.
Why would you do that?
Because this manual isn't really, I need a better manual, because this one's like a tabletop. It's not really like a manual, but like it still does its job, but like small registration doesn't really work out because it doesn't hold registration well. Yeah, it doesn't hold the tightest registration when I want to do like small or detailed designs. And also trying to do oversized prints I need a bigger manual, because right now I'm just limited to like a 12-inch print, and it sucks because I'm missing out on a lot of orders when it comes to oversized prints because I just can't do it.
Yeah. So pretty much when we had the talk, what I was trying to do was, it was funny, like Nick was there and he was trying to be like, yeah, you should get this machine and like all this other stuff. And I was like, whoa, like don't do anything and like save your money. And like, I was just trying to be that like on your shoulder, like, hey dude, like slow the fuck down, because like you could have done it. Like you probably could have done it and been fine. But the scary part of it is, the real life part of it is that you, in this industry, we have ups and downs. We have downtime. And I've been there. Like the problem was for me, the first like 5 years in business, I was a terrible business person. Like I was terrible with money. I just fucking blew it all the time. I was always robbing Peter to pay Paul. And it was like, what happens in, December, January, February, when it's so slow that like you have just enough orders to like keep the lights on. And it's like, if you were to go balls deep and get like a press and you have whatever it is, like $2,000 a month payment for that. And then you go get a space, which is another, I don't know where you are or whatever it would be, but say that's another $5,000 a month or something. Okay, cool. Well, there's $7,000 that you need to come up with profit every month to just pay those payments, not make any money, not pay your electric bill, your gas bill, all this other stuff, or employees. You just have to make sure you have at least that much money every month to pay those bills. And that fucking sucks.
Yeah. That's a scary situation. And that's why I'm more leaning towards just getting another manual and taking like a baby step in. But the thing is, I definitely want to get a spot because right now I'm just super limited when it comes to being down here. The only way to get down here is from the stairs, and there's not a private entrance to get down here. So like if I wanted to get another manual, like an actual manual, like what I would want, like a 6x6 or 8x8, it really wouldn't come down here. I could squeeze a 6x6 down here, but then I'm stuck in the same situation where if I'm just being like an employee to the business at this point. And I'm really just trying to take that next step. So I've just been stuck here. So I'm just trying to figure that part out.
So let me ask you this. Are you all in? Is this something you want to do? Have a screen printing shop? I know you're just 22, but are you all in on making a full-time living with a screen printing shop?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, good answer.
So then I would say this. I would say find a spot to lease that is bigger than you think you need and negotiate a graduated lease with the landlord. And so you find somebody and you say, look, I have this business that's existing right now. I'm doing pretty well. I have a pain point in that I just need more space, and I need, just like you said, I need I need a bigger press. I need more equipment, and I can't fit it in there. And so, which means I have to lease a press. I have to purchase this new equipment, and that's expensive. And so can you work this out with me? Year one, it's this much dollars, and then year two, it graduates up. And then year three, it's what you're asking. And year four, I'll give you even more, I'll give you some of that year one stuff that you were asking for. Is just so like at the end of I don't know if you're going to do a 4-year lease, what you're going to do, but the end of that time, if you're going to do a 5-year lease, at the end of that time, the landlord still gets the same amount, but your year one and year two are lower. And so that gives you that opportunity to lease that stuff and get out there and maybe automate a few things, and because you're having pain points right now. Like you're talking about, you need another press or a bigger press, and it's taking you longer to get shirts down.
Or you're turning jobs away.
Yeah. But then it comes down to, is it a good idea to do a 5-year lease? Because then I'm just really, really tied down to that. And like, I don't know.
I mean, if you're going to spend some money on a build out, 3 years is pretty short. I know you're only 22 and 3 years sounds like a lot, but I don't know.
Fly by. 3 years will fly by. I think 5's a little long, or find somebody who'll just do it year to year.
Yeah,
that's not going to really. Most landlords don't want a year.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
I
don't know, like, how is the real estate where you are? Is it hard to find a place?
It's actually pretty hard. I've been looking for a while. It's actually pretty hard to find a place, if there even is any. And if finding a warehouse is really hard right now. When there is a warehouse, they want like an arm and a leg for it. Like, it's just crazy because like the dollar per square foot is like above $1, and then it's just $3 to $4 grand for like, let's say max 3,000 square foot or less a month. And that's without triple net. So it gets pretty costly. But there's this one building right across the street from me. It's like 2,000 square foot. Nobody's in it. It's vacant. I called the owner. They're not selling it or anything. So no luck on that one. But that would have been like an ideal spot. But that's not really going too well right now.
Are they just don't want to sell it, or they don't want to lease it out or anything?
They just don't want to sell it or lease it because they have like their warehouses behind it, but it's like gated and everything. But this building's just sitting there like it's not doing nothing.
Okay, so maybe the timing's wrong on it. So if you were to get, how would getting another press? You're saying that would increase your quality, but would it also increase your production, your volume? Would you be able to output more?
I think so, because right now it's a 6x4, but if I was to get like a 6x6, I think it would definitely bump it up a little bit.
Let me ask you a question you might not want to think about, but maybe you do. Because we always talk about, like, me and Andy or all these people that have been doing this for a while. What would we do if we had to start over? How comfortable are you with the sales part of your business? Is that like strong for you, where you're good? I feel like you're easy to talk to and you're a good people person. Is that your strength, is getting sales in, or is your strength the actual manufacturing part?
I'm pretty good at the sales, but right now I'm doing everything. So when it comes to sales and that, I'm doing from start to finish. I'm doing it all.
I understand, but do you have more fun doing the sales part, or do you have more interest and fun personally in the manufacturing part?
No, I'd love to get into sales full time.
Okay, so that's a little bit of the answer to this question. Is like me and Andy just debated on without you for fucking whatever it was, 10 minutes. Why don't you double down on sales and print the jobs that are most profitable for you, like the one color front, one color back, or two color, or whatever you can easily do on your press, and then find somebody you respect and know does quality work in different areas of the US and send all your jobs to them, contract. And then you don't have to print anything that you can't handle in your basement. And the things that you can handle, you print and you make a little extra money on. Because then you can stay where you're at now, be comfortable, double down on sales, and you'll make more money, but you'll be in the same space.
That makes sense. But I think I'm just a little stubborn on that part. I just don't want to outsource any of the print.
I understand that. I'm just saying that, like, us people who have done it,
that's what you do.
Now we're like, fuck, I wish I could just work at home in my underwear. And like, because the hard part is I'm not knocking it. Like, I love what I do and all this other stuff, and I'm already here and whatever. But the hard part is that once you get to that next step and you go to that new place, then you're buying more equipment. You do have that lease over your head. Then you have things that break, and then you're like, okay, I need to hire another employee. And right now, employees is impossible to try to find new people and pay and everything else. I'm just saying
not in DC. He's got a lot of people there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's one new thing all the time that you kind of have to manage and take care of. But right now, it's just you in your beautiful basement, and your parents don't seem to be in a rush to get you out of there. I'm just saying that if you find, there are a lot of printers out there that are really good printers. Like, I'll say right now, Andy's looking for some contract work. So, anything you don't want to handle, technically you could send to Andy, and Andy's going to do a good job 50% of the time. And
I was waiting because I was going to say, this is the first time he's ever recommended our shop to print anything. So,
but the nice thing is for the 50%, the ones he does fuck up, he will redo, because he redoes everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, there are a lot of people out there, and me and Andy could gladly send you to some people that we know that are really well. That might not be a bad option, because you could just do this for now. I'm not saying do this for forever, but like, you could do it until your optimal space pops up.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you're like, oh, I have no other choice, I'm backed into a corner, and you go find a space that is either too big or too expensive or not in the right location, whatever, and you do sign a 5-year lease, you're kind of screwed for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Or you just keep doing what you're doing and you find a better network of people, then you can just keep doing what you're doing, double down on the exciting part of sales. And
I think that you have 3 viable options. I think that option number 1 is just staying in your basement, upgrading your press. And I think that'll work out. It depends sort of like on the quality of life and what you're looking for. I think that you also could do what Dylan says. That absolutely would work. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You could grow some clients and grow your account base, and then all of a sudden you have the cash flow that makes it a no-brainer. Or you can just jump right in and go lease a spot and get an automatic and go for it. So I think that all three of those are viable options. All three of those could work out. Maybe all three of those could
They
fail.
all have risk and they all have risks.
I mean,
I'm
I can
not
tell you
saying
this:
mine
if I was 22, I'd go do it. I wouldn't even look back. You know why? Because here's what I always thought when I was younger is that if I fail, I didn't care. Like it was like, oh well, I'll start over or whatever. B, I wasn't going to fail, because there's just no possible fucking way. And then because that's part of it. Because once you force yourself into that situation, then you fight. Then it's a fight. There's no like, oh, maybe I'll call somebody today and try and get like another client. No, you have to.
You'd be surprised at how many sales you can get when you're hungry.
Yeah. When it's like you have to, because like all that pressure is built up on you. And that's kind of what I did when I was in when I was supposed to be in college. I kind of dropped out and tried to put the pressure onto myself, and it worked out. So I definitely see what you mean on that pressure part.
Yeah. I don't know. It's totally up to you. I'm just saying there are options. Like I didn't know of these options when I was starting out. So I'm just trying to put a little bit of something in your ear. But I mean, honestly, dude, it's your fucking thing. You can do whatever you want to do. It's just there are other things that you can do. Not just like, oh shit, I need that press. I need this space. I need another employee. It's like I
appreciate it.
I just don't like the idea of investing more money in a manual press. Like if I had money today,
I had like 6 manuals before I bought an auto.
6?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did that even happen? How did you go about that?
The manuals?
Yeah, like
you weren't running all 6. You're saying you upgraded along
the way.
We
were running 4 or 5 manuals before we got an auto.
Damn. So like one person per manual or something?
Yeah, one person per manual.
Don't listen to anything Dylan has to say from here on out.
Okay, well, the reason why we did that is because we didn't have the fucking money to buy an auto, and I knew I didn't have the money to make the monthly payment.
Yeah.
So we were just doing what we were doing, and it was a bunch of friends together working in a shop, so we all knew the risk of.
I forgot. So Dylan doesn't finance; he pays cash for his stuff. I mean, there are other options. So yeah, you
can finance. I'm just saying it's a thing that's over you, and I just don't like that personally. Like I don't like owing anybody anything.
Were your 4 or 5 manuals running at the same time?
Yeah, we had. What did we have? I
feel like you'd have enough for the monthly payment for an auto then.
Yeah, we did, and then that's when we finally got one. We got to that point. The problem is that we just had we had the one manual, which was fine, and then we got enough jobs where the one manual was just overworked all day. So it was like, okay, well, we'll just get another manual, and we'll run 2 manuals off the same dryer. And then it got to the point where we're like, all right, we have more work now and I have an opportunity to buy this other manual, and we have 3 people. So it was like, all right, we just ran 3 manuals. And then it was like, okay, now we're working manually with fucking like stupid. This is stupid. Like it's not a good way to do it, where that's like manual presses will fucking brag that it's all heads down and you can run like 2 people per manual and stuff. Like you can do it. It's just fucking stupid. So we had done that for a while where it was like one dude loaded, another guy printed, another guy it's just like all on a manual. It was just like annoying.
Where was this out of?
Out of this shop, actually.
Oh, so
we were only in our first spot where it was like a garage shop was for a year. After that first year, we were like totally out of room. Like, and I say garage, it was like a 1-car garage, like a 1 bay. And we had a manual and a Economax M&R dryer in there. And I had a laptop in the corner on a table. That was like this shop. That was the whole thing. And then when we got shirt orders in, we counted them outside on sawhorses and a piece of plywood in the grass. And we did that for a year. And I was like, I have to get out of here. And then I came to this building that I'm in now, and I asked the dude who owned it, because I'm from a small town. He knew who I was. He knew my family, all this other stuff. I was like, hey, are you looking to rent this area? Because in the building was a Target, an archery range, basically. And he was just like, he was old and he was just like, I don't want to rent it because I don't want to deal with like, making a thing for you and all this other stuff. He called me back the next day and was like, would you want to buy it? Like, just buy the whole building. And then I went back and forth for like a week or whatever. And because I had no plans of buying it. I literally was looking for a place that I could rent for like $500 a month. Like, no joke. My budget was $500 a month. I was like, I can spend this and feel okay about it. And he was like, how about you buy the building for this price? And I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. I will take it. Like, I'll do whatever I got to do to get it. My mom and stepdad loaned me like the 10 grand for the deposit. I paid the deposit and then I paid Hap, the guy who owned the building, monthly, like handshake deal. Literally, like I pay him every month until it's paid off. And that's what happened. And then we had the big warehouse space. We had a small dryer in the middle of the room. We had the manuals around it. And then we had fucking cones and shit set up throughout the shop for our moped racetrack and our, like bike jump area. And, it was just like we had room to play with. And now I barely have enough room to walk around because there's so much shit in here. But
what's the square footage?
I honestly don't know. Like, I have no idea. I've never thought about it. Like, I have it written down somewhere, but I don't care. I know it's a room that I have my shit in.
That's sweet.
But yeah, I don't know.
Find me if you find that $500 a month spot. Find me that.
But that's the problem. And I talk to all these people that like live in the city, like Andy in St. Louis, and like knowing what he pays for rent and stuff. That makes me feel sick because of knowing like what I paid for this building. And it's just kind of like, but I live in like I literally live in like a truck stop town off the side of the highway, like in the middle of the woods, like not a like booming metropolis. Like we have one street light. Like we used to. And it's just like, that's why my rent, like for what I paid for my house, and my first apartment was like $450 a month. And it was just like, that's what I was used to, is like, this is what it should cost to rent a place. So I know for you, you're saying like $3-4 grand a month. And I'm just like, that's hard because I get the same business. You know what I mean? We're as printers, we all live in different places and we have different overheads and all this other stuff, but we're getting the same jobs. We're making roughly the same amount of money.
Look at it like this: that $3 or $4 grand a month, if you choose a spot that you can put a sign up that has a little exposure, then you'll get that back tenfold. So like, don't even look at the $3 or $4 grand a month, because people will drive by and see your sign and come in and say, oh, I need 80 shirts. I need 200 shirts. Yeah. And so you're going to get your money back on the, as far as rent goes. It was like when I chose this place, this isn't like, the traffic count isn't crazy or anything, but I went and sat outside and counted cars, and so I wanted to know how many cars went by my building every day. And just like you were talking about earlier, if you send out 100 DMs, you get one person to say yes to your order. Well, if 100 cars drive by, then one person wants wants an order.
See, that's a world that I have no experience in, because I would never get that here where I'm at. Like, I would never have walk-in traffic. I would never have anyone see my sign and come in. Like, my entire business is like me doing the reaching out.
All of your, and I don't know that you want to do custom work like that, but all of the buildings that you're going to lease will give you a stat, like a spec sheet on what their car count, like the traffic count. They'll say, oh, this has 20,000 cars or whatever it is. And so you'll be able to, to look at that if you're interested in that sort of work. Some shops are like, oh, I don't want to do custom work. I just want my accounts and They don't care about exposure. But one way to look at it is that exposure, having a sign will get you easily $3,000. A month. Sure. Wow. So we were talking about that a long time. But
it's important. I mean, that's where he's at. Like, that's what you're trying to do. So,
So I thought about if I wanted to be in like a spot where it does get like foot traffic or car traffic. I think I would want to, but I wouldn't. I don't know. It's like a tricky situation, but I feel like if I didn't want that kind of spot, I could just always go find a warehouse in the cut and just go there if I didn't want the traffic. But I feel like I do want a little bit of that action of like people being able to see the shop and it being in like a spot that people can actually see it. And
you say foot traffic, it doesn't always have to be, because I receive emails all the time that say, hey, drove by your shop, saw your sign. People that don't even live by here, let's just say, they're just driving by, see Shirt Kong. Oh, I need some shirts, and they'll hit us up and they'll say, I saw your sign. I'm looking for some shirts. Cause I always on our contact form on our website, it says, how'd you hear about us? And so one of the options is or to just write down, like, how did you hear about us? Was it a friend? Was it another shop? What was it? Did you drive by and see our sign? So I don't know. I think that if you're interested in custom work, then choose a spot that has a little bit of exposure, even pay a little extra, and you'll get that back. That's another way to look at it. If you're interested not in that, if you're a contract shop, or if you have your own brand, or if you're working with brands, well, then you don't care about that sort of exposure. And like you said, you get yourself a warehouse space, and maybe it's harder to justify, I guess.
Or you go more of the boutique route, where you find a downtown place that's just like in one of those like brick buildings or whatever, and you just have a small shop in the back, and you sell your retailish style stuff in the front, and you do custom orders at the same time.
Yeah, like how many, like Rad, Rockford Art Deli, how many jobs do you think he gets because he prints shirts for his town and he has exposure on that corner? And like when people drive by, he sometimes has that door open and he sees that. Do you know that when somebody goes in there and buys a Rad shirt, that they now know about his place and that they print shirts, right? So like, I mean, can you imagine just the work he gets off of that?
That'd be killer. Especially like a downtown spot. Because good thing about where I'm at is downtown Frederick is 10 minutes up the road from me. And it was actually a print spot, a screen print shop there, but they went out of business during COVID, unfortunately.
And now you swoop in.
Take that exact same building.
You know what I would, the next time I sign a lease, I'm going to put a pandemic clause in there. Because you just said that, like, oh, they went out of business because of COVID. I want to have, like, on my lease, it's going to say section whatever. I don't give a shit. If there's a pandemic and we have to close, then this lease is void.
That's smart.
F it.
That is
like
that's smart.
I mean, maybe of course, there's be some negotiation. He's like, that's we're not down for that. And then I don't know what it takes. There has to be some give and take, but I want that in there because we had signed that lease. And just like 6 months before, when we expanded for that new space, and we signed a lease just 6 months before the pandemic hit. And so I was like,
And didn't you both get a new auto at that time too?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. We both said, let's do it.
What we should do is we could sign for next time you get an auto, you could say, well, I'm going to buy this auto, but if there's a pandemic, I can return it.
But if I can't pay it, I get to keep it.
I don't know.
So tell us more, Baav. Like, where are you at? What are you thinking? What do you think you want to do with yourself?
I mean, this is what's been on my mind, like, every day, trying to figure that part out. I definitely need a new press. So at the same time, I'm like living life down here. I just get out of bed, come downstairs. I'm in the lab. It's just no stress of overhead on top of my head. So it's definitely nice here. Get some home cooked meals from my mom.
Hell yeah.
But part of me just wants to take that next step and go to a shop and have my own actual spot and just have that pressure on me to like get things rolling and get things. Yeah, it'll like, I feel like that's just how I am. I want that pressure and just like to take the next step and make this more serious. Like have that foot, because now customers call and they're like, can I come by? And usually I say, yeah, you could come by. Some people are very cool with it. They love the home-based shop. They love when they come down here, they're like, oh shit, like, okay, cool. But then there's like some people that are like, so when you hear like home-based shop over the phone, you're like, does this kid have like a heat press or something? So some people just neglect it. Like I just had like somebody call last week and they were like, I want to come by. And I was like, sure, we're in like a residential spot, but everything's here. And then never heard back. But that's
now why do they want to come by though? Is it because they want to consult with you or that they want to actually see the space?
I think it's more so consult. I don't know.
That's where you immediately say, yeah, I'll come to you, or let's meet at Starbucks, or let's like whatever to.
Or what Kevin would say from Set Sales is he would say, tell them when they ask that question and they want to come by, tell them the value that you bring. You could say something like, and not bragging about yourself, but just say, look, don't let that throw you off or anything. But because I hear from all the customers that do come by that they see the quality, they see my equipment, they know that I'm serious. And so, like set it up so that they don't think it's sketchy. You know what I mean?
Listen, my mom, all you gotta say is, dude, my mom makes the best fucking lasagna I've ever had in my life. I can't fucking leave this place because as soon as I leave, I'm cut off from all the lasagna. It's just like, it's not happening. Like, I just like it too much. The ricotta, the cheese, it's just, I have to stay.
There, see? So I would say, and I would say whether it's you say that or whatever it is, I would qualify it a little bit because I've been in your shoes. I've been out of my house. I started there, right? And so I know that feeling of when somebody wants to come by and you tell them that you're in a residential area, that you might lose that order and you don't want to. And so I think you could qualify it and put people a little bit at ease. Yeah,
there's some of those, but then some people just love it. They're like, hell yeah, I want to support you, get this going. And totally. I'd say most of them do support it and they love it. But part of me just wants to get like that shop and take the actual next step because either way, sooner or later, it's going to happen. Like either way, if I want to actually do this full time and keep going at it, I can't always be down here. So like, it's going to have to happen sooner or later.
I got to say this though. I think for your age and where you're at in life and stuff, you're already doing fucking awesome. For 22, having that shop in your basement and having everything as legit as it looks right now and doing the YouTube stuff, like you're already above where you probably should be. So
we're proud of you.
Yeah. So like you're doing good, dude. Like don't think you're like, I gotta get to that next step. I gotta
you feel like you're behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how we beat ourselves up like that? That's
the good sign of a good, business owner. You're gonna do that forever.
You're not satisfied. Like you want it. Yeah, you want it to be better. You always want to improve. And even when you get that shop, you're still going to think the same way. Like, no, it's not big enough, or I need another press, or I need this whatever piece of equipment. So yeah, I mean, I think that you're at 22, be patient. You're not in a rush, or don't be in a rush. I should say. Yeah, you want maybe a space and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you don't have to decide today or this month or even this year. So continue what you're doing because you're doing a great job, and make those videos because I don't know, you're giving back to the community, and I'm sure people have contacted you from those videos, for orders even.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely started to get a lot of orders from that. The videos itself on YouTube. What
you got to do is keep doing the videos until these manufacturers just start giving you shit.
That's one route. Yeah.
Just double down on that because it does work sometimes, I guess. But yeah, I mean, is there anything in your shop wise other than like the press and moving out and all the other stuff that you're working on? Or I see you got a bunch of embroidery stuff going on and you got the heat press. Like, is everything else going good and you need to upgrade, or what's going on?
Everything else is going good. I got the embroidery machine. It hasn't even been a year. I got this last year, end of summer, August time. I just wanted to add on. Embroidery was something I always wanted to add on, especially when I started screen printing. People would always ask, do you do embroidery? Do you do hats? And I just have to say, not yet, but soon. So for a few years, I just kept doing that until it popped up in my head, like, I got to stop pushing these clients away because I'm getting enough screen print work. And the good thing is I already have a client base built for screen print. So when an embroidery comes in, I could just put it out to that same client base.
Right.
But other than that, I'm just really trying to get a new manual press in here because when it comes to doing super detailed designs and oversized prints, I'm kind of limited. So right now, I've been talking to like some presses, trying to get a new press down here at least while I make up my decision to do what's next.
And right now you could probably sell the one you have for a decent amount.
Yeah, definitely. So I could just pump that out of here and get a new one in here.
Well, it's good that you're focused on the quality of it. You know what I mean? Like getting that registration, getting a better press is going to give you better prints. And it's good that you're, that's a top priority.
Yeah, I just can't do butt-to-butt registration, or like if it's a tiny design and I need a underbase, it's not really going to go well because that white is going to poke through sooner or later. just by the screens moving just a tad bit left or right. And it's,
you don't have side clamps, just rear clamps on that?
Nope, these are just front clamps. It's a pain.
I was gonna say, can you get side clamps? I think you can get side clamps for that press, right?
I can, but I just need a better registration. This one has like the 2 screws, 2 bolts to do the registration, and I want like the one that has like the I forget the name.
You just want more micro options with it.
This one has micro options. I'm talking about like the registration gate itself of holding the.
Oh, once the screen comes down.
Once it comes down.
You're saying there's the bearings down there that they're not very good or something?
It's just 2 bolts. So you tighten.
Oh, you're talking about the 2 vinyl nuts that screw in.
Yeah, that's
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not cutting it for me.
I got it. Yeah.
Because you gotta tighten them every so often, and then when they're too tight, you just hear that squeaking sound and then slap.
Yeah.
I'm over
you got a little bit of slop in there. Yeah. I understand what you're talking about. Okay,
So
I was confused at first.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't think of the
that's
word.
good. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, do you have any questions for us or anything that you want to touch on?
I think we answered a lot, but hell yeah, prepare to be interrogated. I had some questions on wet printing. So I feel like every time I jump or try to do wet on wet, my screens are always just sticking to each other when I do the wet on wet. How do you, because I know with autos, you mainly have to do a lot of wet on wet. So how does that really work? Because every time I try to do wet on wet, it's always building up on the back of the screen, or it's just sticking and pulling the shirt up or something like that.
Well, I would say, Andy, do you want this or do you want me to do it?
Go ahead, Dylan.
I would say there's 3 main things I would keep an eye out for with that. One is really good screen tension. So if you have good screens, using the right mesh. The other thing would be your off contact. Make sure your off contact is actually correct, because you want it to be able to pop off, not like just lay on the ink and then when you pull it up, it's sticking. And then 3 would be if your pallets are warmed up correctly. So if your pallets are warmed up enough, like if you have aluminum pallets or whatever and they're at a good temp, depending on what you don't have a dwell because you have a manual, but depending on how fast you're doing them, the actual pallet will slightly start to flash or cure your ink, so that it's not as tacky when it gets to the next print. So I would say probably something to do with those, or you could cheat and use a silicone spray on the back of your screen. You can thin down your inks a little bit, because if they're too tacky. The other thing too is set your print order to where you're not doing like a big spot color and then trying to do wet on wet with another big spot color, because you're going to have so much coverage that it's not, whatever. The other thing too is making sure your squeegee is sharp enough to where you're actually shearing the ink off through the screen onto the print, because if you have some of that ink still in the screen mesh, it wasn't sheared off, it's going to want to pull it off, and then you're going to have those like kind of looks like fibrillation, like kind of got like the ink's kind of poking up all over the place. There's a bunch of variables, but that's the problem with screen printing, is it's a very variable heavy industry. But
I would say that a lot of those things you mentioned are true, and it's way easier to control and to print wet on wet on an auto, even though we generally don't print more than 3 colors wet. There are occasions and stuff, especially when you're doing sim process, it's way easier, but spot colors is a little tougher. I would say manual printing, I always struggled with wet on wet because I didn't know about traps and gutters back then. I was sort of just outputting my art and unaware that, wait a second. And especially with that press that you have now, it's not going to matter. But if you want to, when you have an automatic press, you can put in little gutters. So like, in other words, you said butt on butt registration is tough for you. Well, then, you don't want those ink colors to ever touch. And so you put in this tiny little hairline, gutter so that they don't actually touch. And you can control that on an auto because you can control your pressure consistently and your speed and all that kind of stuff. Whereas on a manual, it just doesn't really matter as much. And so I think you're kind of stuck. And I was always stuck. And I almost always flashed in between colors, especially when an underbase was involved. almost always. It was really tough for me to get away with. I'm sure there's some manual shops out there that have figured it out, but
Thing is, it's
I think
never
it's
it's
tough.
never perfect. It's never an exact thing. Like every job is different, and you just need to. Sometimes you just have to flash. Sometimes you're just like,
Mhm.
this job isn't going to look good. The brown ink is, the viscosity isn't where it needs to be. Whatever. It's just like
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to, and sometimes you can get away with it. And it shouldn't be a get away with it scenario. You shouldn't look at every job like, how can I get this done faster and sacrifice quality? You should look at it and be like, well, it's either going to work or it doesn't. Like if it starts to look like shit, then fucking flash it. Like, don't be like, well, I'll get away with it. The customer will never know. That's
I remember
like a shit way to go about it.
I remember when I was printing manually, I would do that wet on wet like you're talking about, and you can go like
Mhm.
3, 4, 5 shirts, and then all of a sudden you do a flash in between to clean it up again. You know what I mean? Do a couple flashes in a row where it cleans it up, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden it started to get muddy a little at the edge, and then you do a flash to clean it up. And so like, what's funny is like a lot of customers would never know, like they would never even, you could say, hey, look at the shirt. What do you think? And you could have them side by side. One that you printed wet on wet, and one that you actually did flash. And they'd say they both look fantastic. Can't tell the difference. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And there's other people that would look at it and they're like, what is this? What is this one that you didn't flash? It looks like hell. I hate it. I want my money back. And so it's weird how some people love it both ways, and some people will complain about anything.
Yeah, the problem is that it's you. Like we deal with that all the time here, where we know we could put a job out. Like there's been jobs where we've printed the entire order. Say it's like 100 pieces, 200 pieces. I'll see it like at the end of the dryer and be like, dude, this doesn't look like it should. And I'll scrap the whole fucking thing, reorder the shirts, and we'll redo it again. Because I'm not comfortable with it. I will literally go to bed sweating thinking about that job. Like no joke. Like it will haunt me. And the entire time I'll be like thinking, okay, in 3 days when UPS delivers that box to this customer, I'm going to get a nasty phone call. They're going to be like, this print looks like shit. Like I can't, it's not worth it. It's just do it fucking right the first time. Should be a fucking tattooed on your forehead. Like just do it right the first time. Don't,
or in our case, do it right 50% of the time.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, Andy's like kind of like 50. But I'm just saying, like, realistically, you should always have that mentality of just like, and me and Brian are usually the ones that are testing stuff all the time. Like he'll, with the SEPs, he'll be like, let's test the waters on this method and let's do this thing. And we both will say it to each other all the time. Like, what happens when we try to take shortcuts? And Brian will immediately say, you get fucked. Like anytime we try to do anything here that's like, oh, we could get away with this, or we could probably do this, or we could fit this on this screen this way and it'll just barely make it, or we could put it on an oversized screen. Every time you try to cut a corner, you will get fucked. I promise you. Just do it right the first time. I'm telling you right now, like the universe has it out for people who try to cut corners.
Dylan, you need a wooden plaque, laser engraved plaque behind you that says, do it right the first time.
Yeah. For real. Like I'm just life lesson with everything, with screen printing, everything. Just fucking do it right the first time. Don't cut corners.
You have another question?
You'll just regret it at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're just going to be scared when they get the shirts. Like, oh, I got to avoid my phone.
It's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it.
Oh, and do it right the first time, I think applies also to equipment you buy, or I don't know, a lot of stuff, right? Like you're like, oh, I could get this piece of equipment and it'll get me by for a little bit, but why don't you just spend all the money on the thing that really would work?
Right. You're cutting corners.
Yeah. Getting the right one instead of trying to save some money.
It's you get what you pay for thing.
Yeah.
Like most of the time that's true. It sucks to hear, but like it's usually the case. Okay, next question.
This one's like, I guess we touched on that a little bit, but how do you find an employee to print manually? Like, is that something like,
next question.
Do you teach them that? Or like, how does that even like, because you said you had like 5 manuals. Like, did you have to like bring people in and teach them how to print that manual? Or
we've always done like shadowing method. We never have anybody here that has any experience.
It's all homegrown.
It's all homegrown. So like if you have someone on a manual printing right now, or you basically is what you have right now, you'll just have somebody in that shadows you for a period of time until they can figure out how to do it themselves. And then so on and so on and so on. Like you're always going to have that one person that's got to teach the next person. So that's why it's always good to have two of everything in the shop. Is because if that one person goes away, you got another person to print, and then that person teaches someone else, and then that person goes away, you always got someone else.
And they're going to mess up, and you have to be okay with that.
Yep.
That's true.
So we had somebody.
That's your education budget.
I had somebody on one of our quality control. Somebody from our quality control team is really interested in being a press assistant, and so they're like, whenever they're waiting on, and they're actually on the 14 color, and so there's just longer setups there, and so it seems like they're always, ready before the press is running, and so they'll go up and just sort of just watch, and that's like the coolest thing when you see somebody that's going up and they're asking questions and they're watching the prints and everything. Well, the other day, somebody stepped away. I can't remember. The press assistant was away for a second, and the operator was getting ready to offload some shirts, and so she jumped in and she offloaded this shirt, like for her very first time. Offloaded the shirt, popped it from the bottom, everything was cool, and then just proceeded to fold it basically inside out. It was wet, by the way, inside out, and then put it on the dryer. And it was, and the look, I always happened to be there, and the look on the press op's face was like, oh no. And it was a comfort color. And so it comes down the dryer, and it like half the shirt needed spray out or something. And I did it for her because I was like, hey, I got this. I'll make it. I'll make it okay. It was a comfort color that had a sewn in tag that was clean, so you knew it was spray outable. But I went and fixed it. But so people are going to make mistakes. You're going to walk up there and do something, and it's going to get messed up, and you have to be okay with that.
I've told this story on here before, but we had a guy where his very first shirt he pulled off the press, he put it ink side down on the dryer.
Down. I remember hearing that.
Yeah. And we all looked at each other just like, holy shit, did he just do that?
Is that stained on your
No, luckily
I have some stains on our belt. We do. Yeah, every once in a while that'll happen. It will just blow.
One thing I'm going to put out there for the screen printing world, and I want to kind of get everyone's feedback on, because it drives me fucking insane, but it's probably just me because I'm not printing and I'm press or whatever. These guys will use a rag like until it is 100% covered in ink, which is fine. Like, I get
for test prints.
No, like they will have like we have a test bin that's pretty full, like of just like you have enough shirts to fuck around with. Like they will get one shirt that they're like, okay, this is my shirt to like wipe off my ink spatula or wipe a squeegee off or wipe something off. And what they do is they wipe it off, and then they lay that shirt on the dryer and run it through to cure the ink. And then they'll use that rag again to wipe another spatula or whatever. These things are fucking covered in ink. And it's, for me, I look at it as like, it's only going to take one time for you to throw that on the dryer incorrectly, and that dryer belt is going to be covered in ink. Like, and the thing is, you have a brand new Sprint 3000 split belt, and I see them out there with these rags that are like, like young kid in their house, like special rag. Like, this thing is fucked. And like, I just see them throwing it on the belt, and every time I'm just like, get another rag. Like, I don't know. It drives me crazy.
What about like the shop towels? You don't like using those?
Like just like a paper towel, like the heavier ones?
Yeah.
I mean, not really. I get, we just have rags. Like we have, shit shirts to use. So they use them, or we use baby wipes.
Yeah. We use
but
our
it's just
test
like,
prints.
It's just like both sides, inside out, everything. It's just like, just please get another rag.
We don't have any shop towels or rags. Yeah. Every single thing that we use to clean and every is just a test print that was, printed all over the place. And so it turns into a rag.
It's always a rag. All right. Next question.
Have you ever left a flash on?
Everyone has. That's a rite of passage. Or the power just leaves it on because it was off, and you have a brownout and it fries all the relays and it almost burns your shop to the ground.
Oh, I left a flash on down here all night. Came down here the next morning. I was wondering why it's so hot. Like, it's winter. Why is it hot down here? I didn't realize I was doing emails, invoices, and it was just on behind me still the next morning. Went upstairs, came back, and I was like, Oh shit! That thing.
Luckily, you didn't have it over a pallet then.
No, it wasn't over a pallet. Thank God.
Dude, that's the scary part too about having a home-based shop is shit like that will burn your house down.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, this could have went like horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So general rule is before you turn off the lights and go upstairs, check all your outlets or, have a checklist.
Yeah.
And so we do the same thing. It's hard because there's way more than one flash and you have to walk around the whole shop, but we have this closing thing we do and we do it every night.
I would highly recommend that to anybody is have a routine, like a closing routine.
The other thing is I was going to say is we have we have 2 heat presses here. And our heat presses turn off has an auto turn off at like 2 hours or something like that. And I wish that flashes did. I know that would cost money because it's, just another thing. But wouldn't it be great if you could have an auto shut off on flashes? I think that would be so safe.
After how long?
You could set whatever time you want, but for whatever. I
feel like if it was an IR flash, it would have to have like a motion sensor on it. Because if there was no motion after 2 hours, then it would shut off. Because you wouldn't just want it to be on.
Well, the IR flash, we do have it's a heat press, but it's digital. So I guess maybe that's it. It has a timer.
Right, but it knows when you open it and close it. A flash that just sits there that's on.
Oh, so yeah, you're saying that if you haven't used it in a certain amount of time, it'll just shut off after 120 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It'd be nice if it just shut off, or you could put a schedule in it. So in other words, like you could say, "Oh, I want this flash to shut off at 5 o'clock or something."
Yeah. One thing that we do, I've always had that phobia of like something's going to burn the shop down. So I personally go through. Brian goes through too. We make sure like there's no extension cords plugged in. Flashes are off and all this other stuff. One thing we do now is I have like bright green tape that I put on breakers in the breaker box. And now we shut off all the breakers at night for like important stuff. It's not necessarily for making sure we left stuff on. It's so that if there's like a thunderstorm or, any like a brownout, whatever, it's not going to harm any of the equipment. So we have a lot of issues here with that. We're like, we have brownouts all the time. And
so smart.
It will fry all your equipment. So we shut off all those breakers.
Smart.
So the last person that leaves the shop double checks the breakers.
Turn them all off.
Yep. So right now, like you could be like, oh, I'm going to walk upstairs. You could just be like, click, click, click. And full well, everything's off.
That's pretty smart. Gonna have to start just shutting the breakers off. The whole basement. Shut the whole power.
Just one ka-chunk and it shuts it all off. Yep. That's what you need.
Another question I had is, do you guys ever, like when you send out a quote, do customers ever ask you, like after you send out a quote, what's it cost for just a blank? Like, do they ever like question that to you guys?
Sometimes. And my answer is because maybe they're considering getting their own or something. And so if they ask, I tell them, I don't care. It's like, hey, we marked that up 1.5. And why do we do that? Because I'm guaranteeing your shirt. In other words, if there's a hole in your shirt and you want to return it, I'll fix it. I'll get you a new shirt. So that markup is part of the price and it's a guarantee on your shirt. It's easy. And if they want to bring their own shirts, we actually have a partial markup for just accepting their shirts. Yeah. Like there's a different number. It's not as much, but there's a different number. And also when they place their order, like we have to order those shirts. You can explain everything that you do. You could say, look, I mark it up 1.5 and here's why. We guarantee your shirt. Also, I have to order those shirts. Also, I check every shirt in. So like when the shirt gets here and you've ordered 30 small, 30 medium, 30 large, I make sure that that's what's there. So when you show up, that's what's in the box. And so, there's more to it than printing, in other words. And so you could tell them describe what you're doing.
Yeah, it's always been tricky for me because I get sometimes people are like, you quote them out and they're like, well, what's the blank cost? It's like, do I tell them like the actual wholesale cost or do I tell them the markup cost? And then if I tell them the markup cost, are they going to be like, well, I can just go get it for $2 here?
Then that's a customer you don't want anyway.
Yeah.
It's a customer you don't want. And if you do, then you say you have another cost for those other services that you just talked about, except for the guarantee part. And then if you wanted to be a dick, you could say, well, do you ever just go to Sam's Club and buy a steak and take it to Longhorn and have them cook it? I mean, what the hell?
That's a good. I'm gonna say that next time. I'm gonna say that. I think that's pretty much all the questions. I got one note here. It's not even print shop related. It's related to Andy. I heard in the shirt show, you haven't watched Jumanji? The movie Jumanji?
Mm-mm.
You've never watched Jumanji?
I don't think so. Maybe
the Robin Williams one?
Okay, yeah, sue me. I don't think I have.
You have to, man.
Dude,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't remember what the numbers are right now. It's like, was it like a 4? I can't remember what it is, but Robin Williams has always been my hero. He's been like my number one like favorite actor for forever. And I was legit sad when he died. And when it was like a day or two after he died, like I was still bummed out. I was like so bummed out that he died. And I saw like a meme that said like, will someone please roll I can't remember the numbers, like a 4 or an 8 or whatever it is, or 4 or 6 or something, so that he can come back. I was like straight up like teary-eyed. I was motherfucker. Like, god damn. But yeah, Jumanji's amazing. Like the first one. I don't want to say anything about the new ones, but
yeah, the first one for sure.
Yeah,
the new ones are kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do.
I'll put it on my playlist.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch it now, it's gonna have some real good special effects. Like you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is really ahead of its time. All right, you want to do some quick takes, Andy?
Unless he had a shop hack or a life hack or something.
There's been so many shop hacks,
or like a kitchen hack or like a bathroom hack.
I'd say one shop hack is I used to always sometimes drop my squeegee in the ink when I was printing, and it would just be a nightmare. Or I just get ink all up onto the squeegee itself. So what I started doing is just taking masking tape and taping off the squeegee where it would get a bunch of ink, and
like in the corners
and like the top, the flat side. So now when it does get ink, I just peel the tape off. And
you can also okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's two things that we used to do. We used to poly the handles.
Yeah.
So if we had wooden squeegee handles, we would poly them so that the ink would wipe off. And yeah, we would take masking tape or whatever you tape your screens with, and we would tape the half of the squeegee basically in the crease and then up onto the squeegee handle, so that way when you were done printing, you could just peel the tape off and you would only have ink on the bottom part of your squeegee.
Yeah. Game changer.
Yeah, I think you can order your squeegee already polyed. That's one option.
Yeah, or you can get the aluminum ones.
But I like that. So have a piece of masking, even on the poly though. If it's falling, that's another reason why you should get a different manual, is because it's maybe the pitch is too high or the springs are too jerks around too much or something. But I think I like that. So you just, if it falls, you just peel off that tape and good to go.
It is new.
I have a shop hack, and because I had this order where, I mean, supplies, our blanks are really tough to come by right now. And I had a decent size order I was trying to fill across small through 4X, and it had to be 50-50, So, and they were being picky about the color. And so they kept saying, oh, send me, can you send me an image? What kind of maroon is it? And so how do you answer, like, what kind of maroon is it? And so the answer is easy, is that, and somebody didn't know this here, but it's true. And so a lot of, I'm sure you have like swatch books from whether it's jerseys or Fruit of the Loom or whatever, but you just look at the swatch book. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but there's a PMS color right below the color. Is it showing up?
No,
yeah,
but we understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I see the PMS.
Yeah, so you just tell them the PMS color, and so they could know what color the shirt is. And so if you didn't know that already, look at your swatch books, because a lot of people don't have swatch books. They just go off of like the S&S site or whatever it is, and maybe it's in there somewhere too, but you can use it. But the PMS colors are in your swatch book.
That's solid. I like that.
Yeah.
Another one I have is when I'm printing black, like let's say it's a multicolor design and it's got some halftones or tiny details, especially with black ink, I've sometimes when I flood it, it usually loses details when I go back to print it. So what I've started to do sometimes when needed is you just don't flood the black. Instead, you just print it and just swipe the ink instead of flooding it. Because sometimes when you flood it, it's just too much ink going down and then you're losing details. So whenever I just print it, it usually comes out a lot better for like small detail stuff.
What we do on the auto. Go ahead, Andy.
No, you go.
What we do on the auto is if we have something that's like a solid color, like it's black or whatever it is, and you want to do like, say you want to do 2 passes to make sure like you get like a good solid look of everything, we would do 2 screens. So we would do one black that has all the fine halftone detail, and then we have another black screen that's just all the like big solid like spot color stuff. So that way you can, like, you're not gonna lose all the detail if you do 2 passes. You would do one, high mesh pass on like a 230 or whatever, and then you would have another pass with a.
We call that here the old 2-color, 1-color job.
Yeah.
You quote it out for 1 color and it turns into 2. I mean, the same thing can be said for whites. Sometimes the same thing happens.
Just do what you gotta do to make it look good.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I got more for you guys if you guys need more.
So go ahead, one more, and then we'll do quick takes.
I'd say I'd give this one for like small shops trying to start up. If there's small shops or something that's watching this, trying to get more customers. One thing I did was whenever I got an order, I'd always order an extra shirt in that and keep it in shop printed. So that way I have a physical portfolio. When customers do want to come here, I could tell them to just browse through that. You could check out my work right there, feel the quality shirts. And most of the time it's different quality shirts. So if you want to browse through different blanks, you could go through that or just check out my work. And another thing is ordering, just having extra shirts in stock. So like when people order hoodies, just throw in an extra t-shirt with that same exact print and throw it in there as a gift for them. Because I've gotten many repeat orders just from that, because when they open that box up and see that, they're like, oh shit, he gave me like a free shirt. Oh, I like this shop. I'm gonna just keep going with them. It just makes them happy at the end of the day.
I love that.
We do that with other things too. It could go the other way of like, you talk to a customer and they order a Gildan, like a basic tee or whatever, and I'll order an extra of like a Bella 3001 CBC or something, and we'll print it on that and send it. And then they'll see like the difference in quality of like this shirt versus this shirt. Or like you said, you could put it on a tank, or depending on what the customer is and like what you think they could be into, but they weren't willing to go with that route. You could print something just like, I mean, it costs you what, like a couple bucks to just like be like, hey, like maybe next time try these.
And the perceived value is way higher. They see it as something worth way more than a couple bucks. And it's
right.
Exactly.
Such a nice gesture too. So I like that move.
Good.
We need to do that more. I don't do that enough.
Yeah.
Really. I try to do that with like every single order that comes in here, especially when they get like a basic Gildan or Fruit of the Loom shirt, just throw a next level in there or something. And just,
I think I saw that in one of your videos, and you packed it differently too, didn't you? Like let's say there's a box of 50 shirts, then you take that extra, the bonus shirt, and you put it in its own package, right?
Put it in like a poly bag. Sometimes I write like a thank you or something. And
handwritten notes is where it's at.
Yeah.
If you really want to pull the heart.
But the way they look at it is like, I've seen like me sending that one, like let's say somebody gets pink shirts, I throw a black shirt in there with that same exact print. Later that day or the next day, they get that order. They send me a picture of that package extra tee, and they're like, damn man, thanks for this tee. And then next thing you know, you see them posting it like 1 of 1 tee right here, and then they're just like stoked on it. So it just makes their day. And it just,
any extras you can do for a customer is always good. Anything you can do to go above and beyond.
Like give them cookies.
Yeah. Especially if
I saw the branded candy thing that you guys were talking about. It was a while back, in a couple episodes ago.
You're talking about the cookies that Dylan made with Shirkong on it, or with
probably
Upstate
the
on it? Or?
Cookies, or he was talking about like having branded candy, just getting a bunch of bulk candy and throwing it inside the box.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
We have a thing now where we bought they're like those, and I didn't know this either because I'm not a fucking pothead, but there's those baggies that people, I guess, get a lot of weed in, where it's like holographic on one side and it's clear on the front. So I bought like a ton of those, and then I put like it fits a 4x6 postcard, and then I have stickers, and I do a mystery flavor airhead where it's like, hey, review us. We love to blah blah blah, and stickers and whatever else. It goes in every box.
Be a good way to get more reviews.
Yeah, it has a little QR code on it, so it says like, hey, if we did a good job, scan this and leave us a review. So it's pretty nice. It's like I said, it's just a little something extra. It only costs whatever, $1.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
Yeah. Anything to make their day.
Yep. All right, Andy, are you ready to start some quick takes?
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
We keep, and I'm gonna do it again. We keep muting ourselves so we can cough because we're both sick.
Really? What's going? You feel damn.
The problem is we were making out too much, and now we both have it. So I thought it was allergies, and no, it's not allergies, I guess.
Some sweet tea will fix that.
Dude, fuck off, dude. Get away from me with your bullshit.
Okay, here we go. Quick takes. Question 1: vacation or staycation?
I take a vacation.
He's already staycationing. He's home all the time. Well, if you're going on vacation, where are you going?
I want to go on like an island, go on the beach and just sit on the beach and just enjoy it. It's got to have like palm trees. I love palm trees.
Okay. Sounds nice.
I feel that.
Messy desk or clean desk?
I try, I'm going to be honest. My desk is most of the time messy, but I try to keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time messy. But if I
Your
keep
shop
it clean,
looks really clean.
I try to keep it clean.
His mom cleans it.
No, I try to clean it at least once a week. Just go around, vacuum, and keep things in motion. Usually on Sundays.
Nice. Yeah, my mom cleans my shop on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Andy?
Test the waters or dive in the deep end?
Just dolphin dive into the deep end.
Well, then I think you answered your question.
I think so too.
Don't do it. Test the waters. Crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter?
Crunchy.
Hell yeah. Do you do jelly?
No jelly.
Yes. Fuck, I'd like you a little bit more. You're redeeming
Totally
yourself.
redeemed himself.
You're redeeming a little bit. I mean,
I always thought I was weird for putting no jelly, but I just never.
nah, dude.
I just think it's dank with just peanut butter.
Yeah, just crunchy peanut butter on white bread. Fuck yeah,
Ooh.
dude, it's the best.
Not
100% stuck to the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, that you need to drink with that for sure.
Yeah, but
though.
it's delicious. It's perfect. All right, Andy, finish her off, bud.
Yeah. What's for din?
I'm gonna go Live Moss and get some Taco Bell.
Fuck yeah, I just had Taco Bell before I got here.
Oh hell yeah! What'd you get? Crunch wrap? Chalupa?
I got a cheesy gordita meal.
Okay.
Yeah. They also have what is it, crunchy chicken tacos now, which is basically like a chicken tender in a taco. I got one of those and it's pretty good.
They're always coming out with new stuff.
Andy, I know it's above you, okay? It wasn't fucking covered in caviar. My bad.
I thought you were gonna say it wasn't Olive Garden.
It wasn't Olive Garden. Yeah, definitely.
Olive Garden, the free breadsticks and salad is unbeatable.
I've never been to an Olive Garden.
Oh, Andy, I'm surprised you haven't taken them.
I've never been. Is there one in St. Louis? I don't even think we have one, but I will. I think Dylan might have invited me up for the very first time.
Yeah, right. I've invited you so many times.
It took this long. Finally, I must have done something.
And I hope you come.
That's what she said. All right. So, look, thanks for chatting with us today. Appreciate what you do, and that YouTube channel is awesome. I mean, I tried long time ago to do something with YouTube, and you have to be dedicated, man. You have to continue, like, constantly put something up for, I don't know, you have to upload for like a year. I mean, at least. And you've got a lot of engagement. You know, people dig it, and so congrats on that. And if you ever have any questions about like leases or moving into a different spot.
Anything.
If you need to be talked out of it or talked into it, either way.
Absolutely, man. I
Give me a call.
appreciate you guys having this show because it definitely helps to listen and see what other shops are doing, how it all operates, and just it gives a lot of pointers to us small shops to know what to do because you guys are always talking about some mistakes you've made in the past and just learning from it and getting the right things in motion, especially when it comes to automation, screen room. You guys are doing a good thing. We appreciate it.
The thing is we just have so many mistakes that like we have so many to share.
Well, you're sharing it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We appreciate it, dude. For real, you're doing awesome. So keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, we're here if you want to talk to somebody about something.
Hell yeah, I appreciate you two for having me on here.
Yep. Have a good night, man. We'll see you later.
You too. See ya.
Later.
Stay printing.